All right, so we made it. It's officially our first long-form video from Dallas. It's a new era. You see what I did there? The era. It's the name of the channel. And I wanted to use today as an opportunity to talk about a topic that was popular last week, and I didn't really get the chance to break it down on this channel as I would have liked to, because I was moving in. I had a lot of obligations going on last week. I think I went to Walmart like 7 times one day. There was a lot going on. My head was spinning. I was hanging things, bringing furniture in, arranging the room. Couldn't really get to talk about the whole Clemson situation last week, but I want to use today to do exactly that. I want to make the focus of today's segments Clemson's approach to the transfer portal, their strategy, if you will. Dabo Swinney, Clemson's head coach, of course, made a statement last week, multiple statements about his vision, his philosophy when it comes to the transfer portal. And I don't want to get into the minutia of what he said and analyze it, break it down word for word, but I will say that, in theory, excuse me, still got a bad cough. That was another thing last week. I was very sick. Last Wednesday I was on my deathbed. It was terrible, but I'm back, baby. If you saw that short last week about Jared Goff, you saw how down bad I was. But let's get back on track. Let's talk about Clemson. We got a little out of context there. Not everything that Dabo Swinney said was wrong, in theory. In fact, I agreed with the substance of what he said. I agree with a lot of the things that he said. He's not very far off. But you can say one thing, have a lot of conviction in it, have belief in something, but then you have to do what you need to do to adapt, to survive in your industry or in this world. To illustrate what I'm saying here, I'm going to use an example of myself. I'm going to make fun of myself here for a minute. So I'm 24 years old, but internally, I'm an old man. I'm like 72, 73 years old. I despise technology. Computers, I hate using this thing right now. I'm recording myself with a Mac. I hate this thing. I wouldn't be able to sustain this channel if it wasn't for the Mac, but I hate it. The thing has a mind of its own. I wish we were 1995. These things. Don't even get me started on these things. You want to talk something that has a mind of their own? These phones, they burn me up. All these gadgets, all these gizmos. I mean, these cars you drive now, they're like spaceships. It's unbelievable. I wish I could go back to the days of 2004, 2005, maybe even further back, like 1997, where there weren't any of these things. And we just started a campfire, played some wiffle ball, played some cornhole, and just lived life. Went for a hike, and that was that. We just enjoyed the great outdoors. I hate these things. But on the same token, I know that I also need these things and my laptop to survive, to sustain, to be successful in this world, to establish a successful career for myself. I need LinkedIn. That's on this thing. I need SMS messaging. That's on this thing. I'm in Dallas. I'm brand new here. I'm not gonna print out papers from MapQuest or go to the gas station and get a map to figure out how to get to Walmart. I'm gonna plug it in here. I'm gonna get to exactly where I need to go. It's adapting. When I'm around my friends, I will complain about these things all the time. I'll throw tantrums about them when they're really getting on my nerves, and you'll see it. If I'm having a bad technology day, you're gonna know it. But at the end of the day, I need the thing to survive. And I have to embrace it. Because if I don't embrace it, I'm not going to live up to my full potential. And quite honestly, I'll get swallowed up by this rapidly evolving technological world. The same concept applies to Clemson here. Dabo Swinney has his opinion about the transfer portal. And I get it. A lot of guys enter it just to go to a certain place, or they're trying to get more money. And I'll be honest, if I were a head coach, that's something that would really irritate me. It really is. I will be straight up about it. But guess what? the transfer portal and NIL as mechanisms, they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere, and there is not a thing you can do about it. You can throw as many tantrums as you want about it. I can throw as many tantrums about phones and laptops as I want to, but they're not going anywhere. So I have to adapt. And Clemson, and I have to use them to my advantage. Like, I've learned about what some of these things can do, these phones, these laptops, and it's kind of amazing. Excuse me. You learn about how you can build your program through the transfer portal and use NIL in that process. Like, you see what Ole Miss has done. Ole Miss, I made a video on this several months ago. I'll attach it up here. Ole Miss has done amazing things with the transfer portal and with the Grove Collective. And they've been able to build their program up to a level to where they're winning 10 games a year. Ole Miss struggled to reach 10 wins every year prior to when Lane Kiffin became their head coach. So you can use these mechanisms to do amazing things. And I'm not going to sit here and criticize Dabo Swinney for being frustrated with the transfer portal, with NIL, because it's new. You're used to winning one way. There's a proven recipe, and I couldn't imagine placing myself in the shoes of like a Dabo Swinney or a Nick Saban, who was used to winning one way for so long. You had your approach, you had your philosophy, you had your principles, and they guided you, they navigated you. And all of a sudden, everything that you believed in the past, it's now gone. You have to, X amount of years in your career, you have to learn and digest this entire new handbook of how to succeed. That wasn't really a thing before, and you had it down. Clemson was almost a dynasty. They never got that third championship, but they were almost a dynasty. Clemson was a force for a long time. And NIL and the transfer portal has gotten the best of them. Because, and this is no lie, since the inception of the transfer portal, Clemson has acquired 2 guys through the transfer portal. They've used the transfer portal to get 2 guys. That's it. I'm not making that number up. That's real. 2 times they've used it. And that's not going to sustain. If Clemson continues at this rate, they're going to become irrelevant. They're going to become a Hank Williams song. They're going to be a dinosaur. So, and I know Clemson and Dabo Swinney don't want to do this. And I know it goes against everything he's believed in the past, and I get that. And this is a tough crossroads for a lot of head coaches. And I think you will see head coaches leave for the NFL or retire a lot because they struggle to adapt to this. But Clemson right now, Dabo Swinney, they have 2 choices. You either adapt to the transfer portal into NIL, or Dabo Swinney moves on to something else, and that's fine as well. Sometimes, Nick Saban retired this year, and he had a whole host of reasons for it, but I can tell you it was a lot when you hadn't had the NIL and transfer portal there forever. When all of a sudden that's in your daily mix, it can be stressful. And when you get later in your career and you have success and you have this new thing to adapt to, it's tough. But in order to return to what Clemson once was in 2016, 2017, that's where their fans want them to be. That's where their boosters want them to be. That's where alumni want them to be. The NIL and transfer portal, and the transfer portal, they have to be embraced. I love Clemson. I don't want to see Clemson decline. I really don't. I got the poster right here on my wall. The greatest college football game I watched in my lifetime, I was born in 2000. Clemson and Louisville back in 2016. Those moments, I want those moments to return again. And I want to see Clemson do what it has to do. Make more use of the transfer portal and of NIL to get back there again. I don't want to see Clemson fade. This is one of college football's storied programs. College football is better when Clemson is better. It's a college in a small town in the South. You go through Clemson, it's a cute little town. But when this place gets going, It reminds me of Lake Placid, New York. Like, I grew up around Lake Placid, New York. It's a small town, but when you have an event like the Ironman or an Olympic event in the area, it is going. It is bumping. And Clemson is the same way. It's a small town in the South. But when Clemson is good and you've got them game weekends, that town explodes. I want to see Clemson back in the national conversation again. I want to see this team sustain greatness. I want to see them do what has to be done from a strategy standpoint, incorporating the transfer portal and NIL into their approach more and more to get there. And I believe they can. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.